This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Join MJ, Kristen, and Terry for Beyond the Headlines, putting today's news into perspective. Join us on Facebook, X, YouTube, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, or anywhere you get your podcast. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Hi, Terry. Hello.
Hi, MJ.
How's everybody out there tonight? Good. Are we having anybody come in? What's it looking like out there? I don't know about anybody, but we had 74 degrees the last 2 days in the north.
We had an 80 today.
Yeah. We had a lot of wind, but it was 74. It was beautiful on this beautiful last day of the month.
That's right.
We believe we are already a quarter way through our year.
That's
and
crazy.
Our beautiful 2025 year. And there seems to be a lot of chaos still going on. I don't know if anybody else feels it.
Yeah, I think there is. I think there's a lot of maybe miscommunication, animosity, maybe between groups and things like that it needs to get resolved, I think.
You think it's plausible, Terry, that maybe, just maybe, that we would be part of that? Is that Tony, our Hoosier?
It is. Hey, Tony, what's up?
He is the minds of the Hoosiers. So he is another DJ here on our beautiful MBR Family Radio.
Inside the Hoosier mind.
Yes. And I love his football talks because I love the college. That's what I like, the college. Because Tony, we are. He's going to
Boise State.
Right. Hey, but we won in ice hockey. Penn State won in ice hockey yesterday. It was a really good game, 3-2. Just letting you know that, Tony. So, okay. So back to the energy. The energy is a little bit chaotic for most of us. And I think it's plausible. Now you tell me, Terry, is it plausible that maybe some of the emotions that we have is pattern filled from us, not planning ahead, not appropriating? Is it plausible it could be inflation that is already been a long time for everybody struggling, that they were hoping that change would come? I mean, there's just so much. What's he say? Did he laugh at my Penn State? Penn State won ice hockey and 4 straight national titles for wrestling. Yeah, baby. That's right. Woohoo, because we are Penn State. So it is, and I think people are running scared. And I think that energy that they have within, I really think is coming across anger, resentment, or I didn't get what you promised, or it has some elevation of just not quite being what is happening at the moment. I really feel that it is his past life traumas, that the total eclipse, the moon and the energies, we talked about this on different shows. I really truly in my heart and soul believe that all of this energy has come up to now heighten anger or resentment, because that's what the energy is supposed to do. It's supposed to make dead dogs come up. So are we blaming others for those dead dogs? Are those skeletons? Is our anger being resourced differently because something didn't go our way? Are we flying off because it's not the change that we wanted? We made a choice and now it's not there. So these are all flip patterns that we can do. We can aim in a way where we can flip things. And I like that. I like to be able to flip negatives into a high positive, or at least into a balance.
Right.
Yeah,
because you may not always agree with someone, but you can agree to disagree on that same plane. You each present a side, and then you understand that they come from another perspective than you do, and you can just appreciate the other's perspective and not make the other one wrong, and them not make you wrong.
Yeah, it is. And I think tones, words, actions, body language, all of this adds up, right?
It does.
I know in my own life, if I am discerned, I don't like to use the word mad or angry. I use the word discerned. So if I get discerned about something and I kind of question you like that,
then you're like, why are you yelling at me? Why are you mad?
Right. Oh, because your tone and your body's energy's language at me is saying that I've done something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a habit of that. I mean, I'm a conditioned loud talker. My family was very loud talking. We talked with our hands because we're Italian. So we became very loud talkers. So we condition ourselves to talk softer. We condition ourselves not to have such poignant words. Calm our words, look at how we're using them. If we're still angry, step it back. So these are things that can come out and flip those patterns. I always tell people, breathe and tap. And people are like, oh, I don't want to tap, MJ. Well, you got to tap, because that will separate your ego and your judgment from the hard cores of your brain. I go, unless you know another way to do it, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've never used the tapping. I've heard you say to use it, and I know that can be a way to manage, upset or manage emotions or response.
Right.
Some people just take a walk, or some people take a couple really deep breaths and let them out really slowly and calm down. So, I mean, I think there's all kinds of different methods and scenarios where you can work those emotions and really calm it down. I know for horses, if you come at them with a strong emotion, they're going to back up and they're going to run because they're worried, because you're coming at them with high energy. And it's the same with people. Like you say, if you come at them really aggressively, they're going to back up and say, what did I do? Why are you mad? Because It is about how you're approaching someone. It is about your tone. It is about how you look and how you're either like you're coming at them or you're just standing back and asking a question. Right. Yeah, there's a lot to be said about communication for sure.
Yep. I think communication is king. And, if you can't speak it because you're that angry, write it down. Send a text. Reread the text before you send it, because texting is another one. These people, and they're like, well, I didn't mean it like that. I go, okay, but words matter. And they took it because they're not, if you can look at people in life and you have a imbalance, whatever it is, a disagreement, or it's not in your favor, or it's not your wants or desires, and it didn't happen, then you flip it and say, thank you, God, because I don't know what I was asking for. And maybe you're right. Maybe you didn't allow it because either I wasn't ready maturely, or maybe if I got what I wanted, it would have worked against me. Maybe it would have worked. So try these things. Like, I always try to flip a positive, even if I had a flat tire going, I don't know what for car accident or traumas on that road, but thank God it held me back. Like, that's how I have to think. So when you start to think in a positive demeanor, get to core, but then think in a positive demeanor, that will help some of these people who are really struggling. I was telling Terri this morning, or just before the show, I was like, I know that we're supposed to talk about some of the headlines, but I think a lot of us are over the headlines. I think the headlines in the news stations are really what's causing some of the debacles. Is there such a thing, Terri? It's too much transparency.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes too much transparency causes more problems than, just giving the cursory, okay, this is what's happening. But then when you delve into the details, sometimes it gets to be too much, and people don't sometimes want or need to know the too much.
A double-edged sword. It's truly a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
And how do we get around that?
That's complicated. I mean, you really have to test your audience and read the room, and you really have to know what they need to know and what you need to hold back, because sometimes they really don't need all the information because it'll scare them to death. Just like threats that are in the media or something, sometimes they really don't need to know the particular details and be afraid to do anything. Like, I'm not going to any more big events because they're talking about having some kind of problem at this stadium or that venue or this venue. And so sometimes you just need to say, well, we found a threat, but we thwarted, I can't say that word. We mitigated the threat. There we go. Mitigated the threat. And so there's no longer a threat. No need to worry. So sometimes that's all you need to say versus, okay, at this particular time, at this particular venue, this thing came about, and, we had all these people and they were running this way and running that way. I mean, we don't really want to get to that point where we tell people more than they really need to know about it, because then it would stop them and give them fear from doing anything that they really wanted to do because they were concerned.
Right.
I think that's my personal opinion anyway.
Yeah. I again, how much is too much? Terry's right. Read the room. Read the energies. If you're an energy reader, or you can read body language or facial expressions, there's so much of our physical that can be read. And, I'll never forget, I was perplexed and there was so much in my head going on. I must have sat there with this stupid face. I don't know, but I can always remember going through classes and I was dubbed bitch face.
Oh, jeez.
Bitch face. I have a bitch face on because I couldn't decipher if I was happy, sad, I didn't know what emotion to come through, because there was so much happening in my class that I was like, and they give you things, especially when you're on like the 12 levels, they give you certain, openings of trauma of life. And then you have to, all these things come out and you're like, oh my God. And then something else comes but in order to become a balanced person, or a person who renders conscious positive, you have to release everything that no longer has a purpose. There's no reason for me to hold back or suppress how I feel about certain aspects of my life. If I can't talk about something without getting angry or upset or crying, I'm not healed, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who, when they start to talk, they start getting very angry. And it's, how did you approach them? Did you attack them, or did they feel like they were attacked because they're guilty of, right? That's the next part. Are you guilty of something that you're crying? Are you guilty of saying those words? Are you guilty of your actions or your body language? That you, and I always make the comment, when you get angry, it's on you. You've either allowed the energy to dwart your energetic field, or you asked for something and put yourself in this to learn some type of life lesson. So let's learn it. Let's figure it out. Let's apologize on our behalf, on our part, and move on. I mean, I don't know how else. If somebody says, well, I got this letter yesterday. They go, I said I was sorry, and they said I'm not accepting it. I go, that's on them.
Yeah, definitely on them.
That is a free will that you, unfortunately, that's just how they feel. So maybe time and space, and they'll change their mind. Maybe they need more time to process your sorrow or your forgiveness, or I don't, depends on the action. It really depends on the action. Today, my thing was the art of the deal. That's all about people's actions and their honesty and their truths.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. And it gets harder and harder because of these things.
The cell phones. Yes.
People are brave. They're brave, and they will put whatever online. They don't care who it hurts.
Right.
Because they want their voice heard. And if they're not being heard, they're going to make sure the world hears them, no matter if they're wrong and strong, no matter how angry and upset. What do we call that? The soapbox. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm guilty of it in the past. I am. I will put on something, and then somebody would call me out on it. I'm like, shit, it was a soapbox. Let me just remove it. Right. But when we try to heal ourselves and communicate, but it's not being bounced back, it's not being filtered through us, then anger starts to play, or sadness, or depression, or resentments. Like, these are the negative interpretational centers. I always go, they're on the left, because the right is always right, and that's the right of consciousness. So I always like, these shadows, these things here are what we have to work on, and they're hard. Especially this energy, because people are very conflicted. People, they made a choice on what they wanted. Now they're questioning their choices, or they're questioning how, where they're doing or what they're doing. A lot of people are being forced to go back to work. They don't like it. They liked being and working from their house. So I tell those people, then find a remote job. Right.
We need to take a quick break.
Okay.
So let's play Shannon Book, Not Alone.
Woo.
He sits on his bed with his gun in his hand. He thinks his life is over, he can't understand. A bottle of whiskey and some pills in the drawer. He doesn't want to hurt himself or hurt anymore. Why must it be this way? Just think it all over and listen to the words I say. You are not alone. There are so many people who fight with their demons each day. 'Cause you are not alone. So take my hand, brother, let's beat this together today. You're not alone. She picks up the clothes that fall loose on the floor. She finds a crumpled letter just behind the door. Begins to read it with tears in her eyes. A horrible feeling takes over inside. Says, honey, can I talk to you? There has to be something that we can do. You are not alone. There are so many people who fight with their demons each day. bed with his gun in his hand. He puts it away, 'cause now he understands.
And we're back.
Hey, that was nice. Who was that?
Shannon Book. I hope to have him on pretty soon. He said he would, so we'll see.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you type all that in, because normally what I always do is I put at in their name and an at sign, and then I just tell him the music. That way, hopefully, it'll boost his music with
For sure.
others. Yeah. So hopefully, if H Train or Jewel can get in, I had asked him to come on the show, because who else to talk about interpretation than Jewel, right?
Right.
He's the president of this beautiful station, MBR, and he has truly gone out for each and every one of us. And it's a hard task. And I tell you, having 6 businesses plus being a business developer for others and having so many employees, trying to balance everybody's ideologies and everybody's wants and desires can be very tricky with rules, with how we have to administer ourselves, how we have to be poised enough to accept others. And I believe that he could really lend such a beautiful point of view after all these years, because it's just like somebody else. It's kind of like your personal business in Texas. So it's sometimes is very challenging. And you, as the HR, you're like trained in that.
well, maybe. No, it's always difficult when you have people from across the U.S. and you don't see them. You're only communicating by text or a phone call now and then, or an email. And sometimes, like you said, there's a miscommunication because somebody will read something one way and somebody will read it another. I could say, I don't need that right now. And you'll read, she said, I don't need that right now. So, I mean, you could put your own spin on what it was that was said or how it was said because of maybe the way you're feeling personally that day. She said she didn't need it right now.
Right. Is that
who is she to say that? So, I mean, it can be interpreted when you can't communicate face to face or in a forum like this where I can see your body language, you can see mine, you can see that I don't have any ill intent, or hopefully I don't sound like I do. But you've got a space where you can kind of come together and have a communication that makes sense and that is valuable for both sides, because I can tell what you're doing and what you're thinking maybe by the way you're acting. And then you can do the same maybe for me, just because, I'm not like acting bored and I'm not like, okay, whatever you say, I'm not,
That's my favorite. I love to do this.
Well, I do too, honestly, but I don't think that's boring.
Really concentrating. I get 2 of them. Like,
I get you, because that's me too. I'm kind of one of those. It's like, really? Like, tell me more. I want to hear more. So I'm relaxing so I can hear you better. Like, this is my, okay, speak up, tell me more.
So much I have to hold it up.
Right. So, yeah. So I think that's a lot of it is just really, like you said, it's all about communication, and it's about how somebody's going to receive the message that's being said. Because if you're not of the same way of communicating, maybe they don't understand what you're saying to them, and they're taking it a whole other way that was never intended.
Right. Now, there are very mean people, and there are people who are not healed, and there are people who will say things in judgment or say things in ego. The best thing you could do is smile and back away. Train your ego, smile and train it. I say it all the time, smile, because you'll have this inner conversation between you and your higher self or your brain of your ego. And it's going to say, don't smile. That's not the right one. You need to frown. You need to be mad. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Those voices in your head, right?
Right.
Those voices in the head are just really hard. They're hard to deal with. So I think that with anger and resentment, there comes a lot of health traumas, health problems. So the more that you remain angry and frustrated and sad and depressed, you're going to cause yourself a lot of health problems.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's Catherine Hayes, I think is her name, is the book. And it talks about ailments. And when you go through and you have an ailment and you look it up, what does it say, the cause, the metaphysical cause and aspect, it is so on the money. I always tell everybody, go get the book. Because looking up the metaphysical causations of why you have a peen or why you had a kidney stone or why whatever, you have arthritis, rib, eye, hair, whatever, look it up and you'll find out that the metaphysical causation of that physical ailment is probably something that you're going through. And your stress of your body is pushing it out. And that book, I think it was like 1978, 1980, Catherine Hayes. And it is, I have to look it up, but it's a really good book. It's all about finding the health patterns within our body of how our mind is playing. So it's also about our intellect of how we respond by emotion of how our body reacts to the physicalness. Because remember, the body's it's just a vessel, right? It's a vessel for the soul. So if it's just a vessel, then the vessel can break, right? It'll break down. It'll have, it'll have whatever. But as long as we can make it stay healthy, then we're good. And that's why we need to balance. That's why we need to have a flip of old belief patterns and old conditions that we have been, as humans, we've been conditioned by man, haven't been conditioned by God. So there's where the religion side tries to save you, your faith, right? That part of that love. So it's a constant think pattern. It's a constant flip pattern. And every day, because we're removing, the older you are, you got more to flip if you didn't start. That's just how it is. So there's boy. Oh, he got his dreads on. Come on, H, come on up. Hey, what does Charles say? Hey, you guys, you're not streaming on YouTube. Not sure about the other platforms, but I see you here on Facebook. Oh,
we're streaming on the 2CAP YouTube.
Okay. So Charles and anybody else, if you go to on YouTube, if you go to TWOCPT, you'll be able to see us. Yeah.
We're on MBR Twitch, and we're on X, and we're on Facebook, MBR Talk.
There we go.
How are you guys today?
Hey, I like the rose.
Or nightmare.
What?
Love it. That's awesome.
So, Jewel, we're talking, instead of doing headlines today, we were talking about people's perceptions, people's interpretations. And I kind of said in the beginning, while you were trying to drive and get your beautiful face on here, we were discussing how sometimes people's interpretation can lead them down to a more angered path than just communicating. Okay. That's a man of a lot of words.
I don't know if that was a statement or a question.
So no, how do you feel? Do you feel that there's so much chaotic energy since the first of the year? Do you think it's plausible that people are misinterpreting just due to their own frustrations of life? And I think a lot of misinterpretation comes from their own issues that they misinterpret.
I do feel that 99% of all arguments are, just the communication. If we as human beings, I think we assume that everybody's going to feel the same way that we do, or that we're going to see things the same way as they do. And unfortunately, that's just not it, For the longest time, even since 2005, we give veterans that voice, that soapbox. But the thing is, be ready, because not everybody that you preach to wants to hear the message.
I love that. Oh, there's Amber. She obviously found us on there too.
Yeah.
So, I agree with that, Joel. I agree with that 100 times. And interpretation does play a lot of with communication, interpretation to communicate a flip pattern, because none of us, we are all our each identity. You could put your thumbprint out, right? Everybody has a different thumbprint. Everybody has a different DNA, right? We are all made differently. Our parents made us differently. And so if somebody gets stuck without an interpretation of how to make it a positive, and they only saw a negative side, then I have a sneaky suspicion that these people who get angry, they need to have an open communication. They need to have an open slot for that. Well, hello. Hi, Janet. So,
well, and I've always said this, like, and I take this back to where when I got divorced, when I got divorced, I thought to myself, oh, this isn't a big thing. And then, like, I didn't realize, like, how much she paid for other stuff, or how much she, did around the house. I didn't realize that. I kind of like took that for granted. And I think as human beings, sooner or later, we kind of do that. That's the reason why I keep telling everybody that, first it's envy. And then after that, I think there's kind of like resentment, because they're doing the right thing, but they're not getting where they want. And then that person is where they want to be, and they're not getting that. And they start getting resentment, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they don't have an interpretation. There goes back to the interpretation. Right. There goes the grass isn't always greener. I believe that. I believe, and you know what, Joe, I got to hand it to you, because most people who get a divorce, they don't figure out what went wrong. They immediately go into another relationship because their self-love, their self-esteem has been destroyed within it. So they go right into relationships without trying to figure out what happened. Where was my part? Where was my, my ex's part? What did I not see? What can I see now? So kudos to you, because a lot of people do not take that time, to actually flip the pattern. I mean, it's one thing if like I mentioned in my show on the Art of the Deal, if the art of the deal was a sacred vow and you cheated, well, there's really not too much to talk about. Right. But if you got a divorce because we couldn't see eye to eye anymore, we couldn't balance, or things changed so drastically within a relationship, it's okay. Because you know what? Some of us are here for seasons, not for longevity. And we had to learn something in order to get to where we needed to be next.
Right. And I was talking to you about that today, like you can, this has happened so many times this year. You can be friends with somebody for like 9-10 years and then spend 8 or 9 hours with them. And, no matter what anybody says, you look at them in a different way, because you see the way they live. You see the way they react. You just see different things that you don't see on video or on phone, and it's not that they don't want anything to do with you. It's, they don't look at you in the same eye for whatever reason. It could have been something politics. It could have been something sport. I dated a girl a long time ago that she was a Raiders fan, and as soon as I had my Denver Broncos thing, like, it went from talkie to crickets. We're still friends, but she just doesn't want nothing to do with me, you know? And it's because it's professional, you know? And, you know, I used to get on everybody all the time because I tell them, I'm like, you know, don't pass your politics. You know, I put up a cartoon on my Facebook the other day that said, you know, I was in line. You know how you're in line just waiting?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, a girl comes up to me and she just starts griping about something that was happening in politics. You know, and I didn't say anything. I just kind of laughed and I nodded, you know, and like I think when I nodded, she thought that I was like investing more into what she was saying, you know. So she kept on going in, and finally, I don't know what dawned on me. It was kind of sarcastic, kind of rude, and you know, I said I apologized after, but I looked at her and I'm like, did she fart? No. That's what I thought. I didn't fart either. So what makes you think that I wanted to cross the boundaries and talk politics with you? Sorry, I don't mean to be, you know, sarcastic, but I mean, I just don't roll that way, you know? She didn't even say anything. She just turned around and she left me alone the whole time. It was very awkward. So if you're in line, don't ask them if they farted because it's awkward, especially if you have to spend there, you know, 45, 30 minutes there, you know, while they ring them up. So just let you know.
Oh my gosh. You are so funny.
Oh my word.
So that's a good one. I guess because most of the time I always tell us as ladies, I would say, just tell me you have to go to the bathroom. No one's going to question a lady having to use the bathroom because we're always in the bathroom. If you don't want to have a conversation, sorry, I really can't hold it. I got to go. I have to go. I have to go to the bathroom. Maybe I had to go to
TikTok skit. Yeah, that sounds like a TikTok skit. You know, next time we like meet or whatever, we need to take you guys to the Home Depot and we'll give you like one of those like fart machines and we'll fart and we'll see how many actually people say it. I'm guaranteeing since you guys are girls and pretty, they probably won't say anything. They'll probably just grin and walk away. How much do you want to bet?
I don't know. But I can fart with the best of them, Jewel. I can.
I bet you can.
Oh my god!
You know it goes bad when you talk about, you know, flatulence.
Yeah, right.
Right.
We swear we have content, everybody. We're just talking out of our ass right now. That's all.
Oh well, that's a fart, right?
Keep talking, Lieutenant. We'll find you.
Maybe we should go on break.
I don't know. Maybe we should go on break or invite Amber because Amber's enjoying the flatulence. All right, let's just take a quick break. We're going to regroup with our flatulence and then we'll be back.
Let's play Joe Muse spinning. Let me.
What's he saying? You better be careful, Joel. You don't want to make a mistake. Something else.
Yes, that is called a shart. I've done that before. Not happening.
And with that, we're going on break. Here we go. Joe Muse spinning.
And I haven't had much time. Crazy it gets even more if you're on my mind. Thought of you and the things you do got me spinning. Never thought I'd find someone who sees things the way I do. Never thought I'd find this love till I ran
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
I'm just spinning.
I know, right? It's smooth.
It is. That's a good jazz.
You know, I got to tell you, I got to commend some of these veteran artists that we have on here playing and stuff, I mean, you didn't hear anything about any of them at all. And just all of a sudden, like, last year and this year, we're definitely building. I know that gosh, I forget his name, the Braveheart, that song. I know that when he started his YouTube, he only had like 6 subscribers. He has 490 subscribers now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We need to have him on the show, on a show, on the platform. We need to have him on.
I'm telling you.
Poor Terry.
And that's why we went to break.
I saw that and I was like, oh, I have to post that.
That's funny.
So, Joel, another question for you, because you have to work with so many diverse personalities. How do you handle that? How do you, as the president of this company, handle these personalities?
And it's tough. It is. It's really tough. You kind of you get upset, you get mad, and then you sleep on it. And then maybe talk to a shrink about it or something. But the biggest thing is, I pray about it. And not everybody's going to be happy. Unfortunately, it's not like a fair draw line right in the middle. It's never going to be happy. But what I can do is I can try to put myself in their shoes. And I would say if I was upset with a nonprofit or a business, how would I want them to make it right to me? And that's what I try to do. Sometimes I make mistakes, I'm always going to make mistakes, because I'm not a professional radio jockey,
Well, don't take it away from us. We all make mistakes, so don't claim them all, okay?
But a friend of mine had a post today that said, if you're a good person and you do bad things, how can you be a good person if you do bad things? And I replied to her, I'm like, well, I truly believe that to be a good person, you have to mess up or you have to learn a strong lesson that will humble you. That's the key. That will humble you. And then once you're humbled, then then you learn from that. You have to understand, everybody, like you said earlier, everybody has different upbringings. I was brought into a house that we did not eat sugar cereal. My wife, that's all she ate was sugar cereal when she was little,
Right.
And we just have to understand that. We really have to. And when, like with marriages and stuff, if your parents pass away, as a significant other, you have to understand that they're going to be different.
Yeah.
They're going to be, because it's different traumas. And that's the thing. Everybody has trauma. Everybody. They might not talk about it, but everybody has trauma clicks. And when you do those trauma clicks and you have those little trigger words that shoot off, it brings you right back into that trauma mix. When everybody says, hey, everybody has a story, they ain't lying. everybody does have a story, you know.
Everybody's got suitcases too, full of stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about my skeletons like that, Terry. God.
Sorry, I said it in a loving way.
I saw the body language.
Yes, because I was listening. I was poised to listen.
Yes, I know body language. I watched the man talk 30 minutes ago. Body language.
That's a bad habit I have. This is a really bad habit. My resting that heavy head on my shoulders.
No, you know what the number one bad habit is, and a lot of people do it. And as soon as they do it, like I'm done with the conversation. And that is when people check their watch. When people check their watch, or when people check their phone, maybe that just happens to me because I have that effect on women. But when I check when they check their phone or they check their watch, that's a good indication that I need to see myself out, because whatever we talked about, whatever was done, they're done. That it's over, kind of thing. If that makes sense.
No, I agree. When someone actively looks away and is distracted from what you're saying while you're actively talking, then I feel like that is a sign of they're done. They've stopped listening. They're ready to move on, even if you're not completed with what you were talking about. I think so.
I have I have a client, and he will be missed so much, but I used to see him on a regular basis, and he would answer his phone in the middle of sessions, and he goes, give me a minute. And he would sit there and type and type and type. And then he would come back, and then he'd be, what were we talking about? And I was like, okay. And it's him. Like, we're talking about his issues. He came to see me. So I'm just like, all right, I'll just sit back and that's how it is now. If I have somebody who has a phone, you're right, Joel, I'll just smile and go.
And you're better than me, because I would have sarcastically said, "Oh, okay, well, it's personal time now." Okay, a lot better than I am, because I would have said that.
I would have just said, "You're paying me regardless. So if I'm here just twiddling my thumbs, all good. You do you, and I'll wait."
Right.
What I find funny is that he'll get off the phone. And then he'll go, okay, like this. This is what I'm talking about. And then it's like, okay, well, let's discuss this now. He goes, it came at a perfect time. And see, my interpretation was like you going, okay, well, if you have no problem listening to what I'm saying and you are busy, distracted because you have something else going on, his whole demeanor was however many texts he got, he wanted me to interpret in a positive manner. It's like, he goes, if I could have you at work five days a week, he goes, interpretation. He goes, I would not be under stress. I go, that's not true. And I said, because to work out dilemmas, it's going to put you in stress, because you're going to have to open up and be honest. And I go, and that's where people don't like it. They don't want to be honest because they can't face the other person.
Right. And
that's where it gets it.
And the funny thing is like when you're in a relationship or anything and you're in an argument, like you think that last text is going to fix everything, or you think that last text is going to smooth over everything. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to do a damn thing. It's not going to do a damn thing. Yeah, you might as well write them, okay, this is an important topic. Let's shelf this. I gotta go poop or something, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Say something very disgusting so that they can't, if you call into work and say, "Hey, I got explosive diarrhea," they're not gonna sit there and ask you what the remedy of it. They're gonna be like, "Okay, all right."
Like, I know.
Exactly. Exactly. But that's what I think a lot of us think.
Well, it's just opened up to another funny, because if I played the boss role quite a bit in my lifetime. And if somebody would call me to tell me that they had massive bathroom issues, I'd be like, well, what'd you eat? What'd you eat? I need that person.
Well, let's track it down. Let's figure out where not to eat again.
I worked at Wendy's and I called them and I was trying to get out of something. And she's like, "Oh, you think you'll be good in 3 hours?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to have this Pepto-Bismol and it's going to stiffen it up. And, I'll be, and I just kind of went on. And, and she's like, "I'll see you tomorrow." And then
Did
hang
you
up.
ever? Okay, so Big Bang is flashing. Have you ever watched Big Bang? And Amy tries to
Oh,
go
yes.
right to Disney to be, I don't know, Snow White or whatever. They were going to Disney, the girls. And so they all lied about something. And this girl, Amy, she goes, and I precisely called and said, oh, I'm going out for seafood. And then I precisely called and her boss to say, that didn't taste so right. And I precisely called in the middle of the night to say, I am vomiting uncontrollably. And she goes, and here I am at Disney. And then they look at Penny and they go, and how did you get out of it? He goes, I work at the Cheesecake Factory. I just said, I'm going to Disney.
Just told the truth. That works sometimes. Just telling the truth works sometimes.
You don't ever have to remember the lie, right?
That's right. That's right.
It's when the lies come out or the dishonest because you don't want to talk about something. Then you're going to go, God, what did I say again? Because then someone's going to catch you. Someone's going to go, that's not what you said. And
Yeah, you got to remember what you said for sure.
Yeah, I suck. Surprise parties, I can't. I suck at them. I always tell everybody, just invite me. And don't tell me anything. I don't want to know anything.
Hey, there's a reason. Hey, there's a reason why they won't let me hide the Easter egg at Easter eggs at the Easter egg hunt anymore. I suck at hiding. I suck, keeping. I see this little kid like reaching and stuff, and I'm like looking around. Hit it with my foot. There you go. Favorite to like one kid or I'm terrible at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
You just got to say you're hot. No, you're cold. You're hot. You're cold. You're hot. You're cold. That way you don't give it away. You just tell them when they're getting close.
There's probably a game on. Here, come on, kids, get these eggs. Come on.
Right. Hurry up. I got places to be.
I gotta get on my bike. I got to go to the game. Come on.
You guys, tomorrow is April 1st.
Oh, no.
I saw Don post that today.
I know.
Trust nobody.
That's right.
Hey, Don is marking himself. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me tomorrow. So just know he's saying, don't listen to me. He's going to probably come back like, Snoop Dogg got a sex change. Just kidding.
Sounds pretty inappropriate to me, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh.
I know, right? Sorry, Charles.
Sorry.
Our bad. I think it's our communication.
And that's why they call me HR Nightmare.
Amber says, yep.
Oh my gosh. That's so fun. But yes, tomorrow is April 1st. I was telling you, it's like the first quarter was already gone. I don't know what is going on. It is just traveling really, really fast. But if you have analogs out there, then you'll be able to see because the analogs are going to be really behind. So, and
the older you get, it seems like time really goes by a lot.
You're trying to say, Jewel?
I'm trying to say. I'm like looking around and I'm like, yeah.
What an interpretation, Jewel.
I played pickleball last Friday, and I'm icing shit that I didn't even think that I had there anymore. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my god!
I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but man,
but you're paying for it.
Oh, my right knee was like, wow.
It's like, what are you doing? Stop it!
Yeah,
we didn't sign up for this. Knock it off.
But have you guys played pickleball before?
No.
So pickleball is kind of like badminton. It's kind of cool.
I heard
you don't run. You don't like back up because I got yelled at for that. And I backed up and I fell. While I fell, I was in midair. It was like an adaptive picture, as I'm leaning back, we hit there and she's like, yeah.
So you're not allowed to fall in pickleball. Is that it?
You're not allowed to move other than like shuffle to the side.
Oh, it's the old shuffle step.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that they're trying to create a Paralympic team for the U.S. because it's going to be pickleball in the next Paralympics. And I'm like, well, that's great. She's like, yeah, they just got to approve it. And I'm like, well, since breakdancing went so well last
It
summer,
went really well.
Maryland,
Yes, Australia did
I'm sure
a
that
bang-up
it's a
job.
shoo-in.
I think that we should have like because I'd be in it, watermelon spitting contest, because I'm really good at that. Those seeds. I can do it. I am like the best watermelon seed spitter ever. Even my husband was impressed the one day, and he was already far into the marriage and relationship when I did it. And he went, "What?" I said, "I'll have you know, I won our field day." I said, in high school in 1984 by spitting my freaking seeds. I have a trophy.
Yeah. Janet says you're so talented. Hey, you know what? If you're, I could do a cricket sound.
Okay, do it. Well, look at
That's
that.
pretty good.
That's a talented tongue there, boy.
Do that in a movie theater. I did that in a movie theater. I thought it was all fun and games until the kid looked at his dad. Dad, there's a cricket. Okay, well, go get an usher. And I looked at my wife, and she went, stop.
Who said that? Who told you to stop?
My wife.
Well, I was going to say, with a talented tongue, she's not complaining. Is she? Is she really? Do not spit that water out, Joel.
Oh, man. I almost did. Let me tell you.
You didn't swallow them.
Yes,
see, I did swallow.
Yes, you did swallow.
See, we all have talent. We just have to find it, right?
Right.
A lot of people think that they have no talent, but put a watermelon seed in your mouth, spit it, see how far it goes. It's talent. It is.
Well, I tell you what, when I did the professional skiing, one thing that I always took with me, because, my dad told me a long time ago, there's always somebody that is going to be better than you. They might just not have gotten to that place yet. So be humble. Hold on a second. So always, and this is just because of our family belief, but always be humble, because God can take it away real fast. Not saying he's going to, but he always has that option because he's the one that gave it to you. So I've always thought to myself, never look down on somebody, or, because it almost happened to me one time. I was at Winter Park. I was skiing. I was doing slalom. And there was this kid that, he was the nicest kid, but he just started, and after we got done with the first run, like, he was really close to me, like within like 2/4 of a second or something. That guy, I'm HR Nightmare. And so we're doing the slalom stuff. And I thought to myself, I can sit here and say excuses of, why he's near me and all this stuff, but that's not going to change this race. So I buckled down and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go at it really hard. If I wreck, hey, I gave it my best. If I don't wreck, I'll get a podium. I got a podium, but I made sure to go over to him and say, hey, man, you raced a hell of a race. I mean, because he got close to me. But at that moment, I felt like that scene of Mean Girls, look at this woman. She doesn't look right, but, during the little debate or whatever, she can still kick my butt, because me describing what's wrong with her isn't going to fix the issue, because it's a competition.
Right.
And that's what I mean by, that's the only way you get to be a better person, is you have to be humbled.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you've been humbled, but I can tell you I've been humbled like 4 or 5 times.
I think people who get humbled actually have more patience. They have more ability to see interpretations in positives and negatives. And they what we call life lessons instead of humblings. We call them life lessons, and we all have to go through them. And that's beautiful, believe it or not, because whoever the catalyst was showed up for you to actually learn that. And then whoever is on the opposite side, like yourself, to learn something, and you have to get humbled.
Mhm.
Now it comes right back full, here it is, right? Comes right back. And you're like, oh, I learned this. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you get experience, and
Yeah.
a lot of people that some people really, really get humbled. And I can assure and I can tell you from experience that today might be bad, tomorrow might be bad, but trust me, after a while, time elapses, and don't let your mistakes write your check for your for your day. I mean, you have plenty of days to overcome that humbleness.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
make amends, if you really are in the wrong, you really have done something that you shouldn't have, and you were humbled by it, then it gives you an opportunity to make changes and to,
Yeah.
to mitigate what happened in the past. And maybe you can't change it, but maybe you can do so much better going forward, just knowing, okay, this is where I need to work. This is what I have been shown that's true for me, and I need to work on this. And so those experiences mean everything, because it allows you to be a better person. It's hard to be a better person when you haven't been humbled at least one time or two times in your life, because it gives you an opportunity to make changes and to regroup and really think about how you are or how you appear for other people.
Right.
Because we may see ourselves one way, and then when somebody brings it to us, we're going, oh, I didn't realize I was coming off like that.
Right.
I really didn't understand that that's the way people saw me, or that's the way people heard me.
Right.
And now I have an opportunity to change that, if you can. I mean, but I think it's valuable life lessons, honestly. Bless you.
Thank you. I think that too. I just want everybody to know that if you're going to get humbled, the other person may not see that humbling. So
Sure.
be cautious.
That's true.
Right? So even though you may have got the light bulb come on in your head, that doesn't mean the other person who we're trying to balance, that light bulb came in their head. Right?
Exactly. Perfect example is the woman on TikTok. I'm not gonna say her name. I don't want to get sued, but you know who I'm talking about. She came onto the app talking about how she was going to be an advocate, and everybody's like yelling at her, "Get off this app!" Blah blah blah. And the thing is even though she did the most gruesome thing that you could do in life, unfortunately, she's still a human. And if you and it's just one of those things where you just have to keep on grinding. You have to keep on grinding. Just because you did something bad and you helped a little old lady across the street, that doesn't do anything.
Who's judging that? Who's judging that what it was said was bad or what you did was bad? How about flipping that immediately and saying,
well, the court system said it, I mean, she the person killed her daughter.
Okay. So.
Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to recover from that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's an extreme.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, just, you can do 99 things great in this world, and you make that one mistake, and all that 99 things that you did great, it's going to be kind of washed.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't know. Okay, so then that's back to man's ego and judgment. We judge because we, as humans, man has brought into existence, thou shalt not kill. Heck, Jesus Christ, our Savior, God, our Bibles, everything that we know of has come into that, you could do whatever, but if you do this, you're bad. So let's flip that. Okay. I understand she killed her daughter because that's what you just said.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Mental excuse is there abuse somewhere? Was there the daughter abusing the wife or the mother? Was there? There's so like, I don't want to condemn somebody.
I don't either. I don't either. But TikTok's doing that for us. You know,
Right.
I'm not even saying anything. I'm just.
You put yourself on social media, people are going to comment, and then you may not get angry if people comment because you stuck it out there, right?
Right.
If you want your story to be hidden, then we don't talk about it. That's why I said these things are getting people in trouble, because these things, they think you're brave with two thumbs, and you're going to say stuff, and the only person you're hurting really is you. You're really hurting that person. Now, understandably, somebody came in, and I believe in this, which is it was already written. So why was it written? How was it written? Why did this explosive? Where was the past coming in for all of this? Yeah, it's sad. Either way,
it only takes one person to remind everybody of of this bad thing or whatever. I agree, though. It is judgment. It is a lot of ego, but that's the thing, MJ. Society has so much of that,
Even if society has it, I stand in my own. I stand in my own bubble of light, and only light can come to me. So that means I have to find the positive. And you see me, I step back. I was like, ouch.
Yeah.
That is a step back, but it is not for me to judge. Right. I cannot judge somebody. I can't even say everything they did was good except this. That's a judgment. And that is, it's against my oath. I can't, I feel very compelled to say how deeply saddened I am to hear that, how deeply saddened I am that it had come to that. But I cannot judge somebody. That's a gossip show. And that is not something I will ever do, because I don't know what happened. What did the daughter do to push the mother so far? Or does the mother have any type of mental illness? Does the father, I mean, there are so many dynamics that we could go for, but I can't, I can't place that. And I understand thou shalt not kill, but I am sitting here as a military veteran responsible for a life. And okay, I understand what that Bible said, or what the Kabbalah said, or what the John said, or any of them. Right. But I am here as a sovereignty being, knowing my root is myself. I am here. I am allowed to be. And the judgment of others, well, that's on them, because they didn't live my life. They didn't live that journey. And we as humans can sit here and speculate, and we can condemn, and we could say, get this shit. Well, I can't. Like, that is just part and parcel of the 12 levels into the highest light possible, the courses that we teach. It doesn't matter what somebody else did. As humans, we cannot sit here and judge it. We can only try to balance it and comfort those on each side, right? Right. With all respect, right? I want that to be with respect, because it's challenging to have our man's mind think constantly positive, even with horrific things, even with it. And you have to have that positive. And that is where a lot of people and I don't get along, because I can't condemn. I can't judge, and I won't, right? I guess I can, but I don't want to, because I don't want somebody judging me. And no matter what I have ever done, a lot of people could judge me and say, well, you made the hole that, they put the trip in, and condemn me for that little incident. But my job was to build the holes. My job was to put flares, not trips. So I had to find why it happened, and then I had to be good with why it happened. So for the mom, I hope and I pray that there is somebody out there getting into the deepest of her psyches, even into her metaphysical psyche, her spiritual DNA, because there's something. There's something. A mother just doesn't kill a child. There's something else going on. That's how I feel about people who get angry with others for interpretation. There's something else going on. Look deeper. Just look deeper and try to flip it. And if you can't flip it, then give it to a professional who can flip it.
Right.
And
Something else is going on. You're not the issue. Something else is going on, and you're just kind of like the easy target.
pretty much. And that's how a lot of bosses become that that attack. I mean, I can only imagine, especially because your job is to allow everybody to speak freely, speak openly. And I can't imagine if any of my employees spoke freely and tried to say that it is in company of any of my businesses. Well, we're going to have a talk, because you are now condemning my business from somebody else's free will that was just an employee, right? So not only do you get harassed on whatever you make as a boss, you're getting harassed because the employee doesn't like your rules, right? They don't want that. So you have to be able to honor how they feel and flip it to like you do. And you do it very well, Jewel. And we all have to process, every single one of us, we have to process our lives with whatever's coming at us. You know, my parents used to say, I'm going to pick and choose my battles, right? You're going to pick and choose what we're going to rip a child apart with, or rip somebody a new one with, or we're just going to smile and say, I don't know if that was a good decision, right? I'm not so sure. I go, this might end you up in a lot of talk and a lot of comments and a lot of this or that.
Or MJ, you can ask ChatGPT for advice. It gives you advice.
Oh, yes. I'm sure the advice is really solid, too.
It is.
I actually had a client ask Siri. I made a comment, and they go, I don't know about that, MJ. And they asked Siri right in front of me. And I'm like, oh, you can ask Siri. I go, but Siri doesn't have a consciousness. Yeah. Siri has the consciousness of man who programmed her. So if the man who programmed Siri or any of those AI automates and they're not healed, you're going to get a negative outcome, which is the scary part in the robots and the AIs and everything else, because they can use it very detrimentally. They can use it against it. Then there comes another issue. There comes another problem coming out. Yeah.
That's true.
Scary.
Yeah, don't read my search history this weekend. Does Kool-Aid? What was it? If you like cut potatoes, will the taste be different? I listened to Kool-Aid and I'm like, how many calories is Kool-Aid a sip? I mean, these are some of the stupid things that I ask you. Oh, if eggs float, they're bad.
That's true.
If they sink, they're good.
That's right.
This is the kind of advice I get, you know.
I
use Alexa. I use Alexa to, Alexa fart, you know. Alexa's good for it. If you haven't did that, try it.
Alexa.
Oh my goodness.
I can't deal with AIs and Alexa. I can't.
No. Right? Yeah, not so much with that.
Well, I chased all your listeners away, guys. I'm sorry.
No.
Well, we're actually over time. I think that's why.
Yeah, we are over our time. But hey, Jewel, seriously, I want you to know, and I'm going to say it very loud for everybody to hear this. Jewel Hunt has taken MBR to some of the most extremes of a lot of different radio stations. And I have been privy to two of them that I did broadcasts on. And to have a freedom that allows somebody to learn and somebody to educate into a rehabilitation into something new because they lost their job or they can't perform on a basis, then I'm going to say that all hand claps need to go to Mr. Hunt, because he has put so many of us in front to allow our voices to render and to allow our voices to help heal, or allow our voices to give you some laughter, right?
Right.
Laughter is important for healing.
It is. Yeah.
Well,
you've really, for sure. And he's really given us a platform to really heal ourselves in that manner, or get our confidence back, or get our community back, or get, connected again with the veteran community that we may be distanced from for whatever reason. Maybe it's time, space, or maybe it was originally because you were done with the military and you wanted nothing to do with it. And now you see, my military time was really important to me and I really miss those connections. And so this platform has given us all, I think, that ability. And your tireless efforts, honestly, your tireless efforts on our behalf a lot of times go unnoticed. But I notice, and a lot of us notice, how much time you spend and how much effort you put behind helping each person be a better person.
Absolutely. And for that
They
matter,
only know if they're in the forum because you'll get a text or a message at like 1 a.m. Up, H can't sleep. Okay.
just wear that Jolene wig. I love it. I'm gonna start calling you Jolene. Jolene. Please don't take my H train from me. We've lost it. Okay, folks, we've lost it.
Don't worry, you guys lost your listeners when I came on. So
No, we didn't.
You had lots of listeners before I came on. I'm an HR nightmare. What can I say?
That's because they realized we didn't have a real go-to, and they probably didn't want to hear an interpretation go-to.
Well, I actually had a topic, but I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with it.
Oh, Janet, I love her so. So I'm going to give her a shout out. So Janet Becker, she takes people's wedding dresses, like if you're in a divorce and you don't want your wedding dress anymore, please give it to her because she cuts them up and she makes the gowns for stillborn infants or those who cross. So she takes all these beautiful wedding gowns and she makes the most beautiful, beautiful outfits for these beautiful children who didn't make it into this lifetime. That's what she.
That's awesome.
That, you know what? That sounds like an interview.
There you go.
I can get her on. Actually, she doesn't live too far either. She is she's up in Broad Auburn, New York, which now I'm very close to her. So I used to live very far.
I've been talking about it all month, and since I'm here, I would, if you guys don't mind, I would like to do kind of like a shout out myself.
There you go.
For sure.
I'm trying to get him to be a part of MBR. It takes a while because he's so busy, but I want to give a shout out to one of my friends. He's an Army grunt. He used to be in the Stryker Brigade, but he's a double amputee. His name is Travis Strong, and Travis Strong not only has he like climbed up the incline in Colorado Springs with his hands because he's in a wheelchair, but he's given up his time and effort all the time to improve the lives of veterans, either through fitness or like he started doing we have that gaming channel for MBR now, and he's been making little tutorials of how to do stuff, and I send that to the group, and he's a pretty good game genius. He has configured to where he can turn your console, Xbox, whatever, and you can turn it into your computer and play it on the computer with the keys.
Wow.
Because apparently the keys and there's like different more options on the computer compared to the 16 button controller. Why they did away with 2 buttons pisses me off. But now it's I'm sitting here. How many times did I get my ass kicked, Tracer, on WWE? I can't do anything. But I don't want to take spotlight. Travis is a Purple Heart recipient. He is an amazing person, and it's one thing to like write these veterans and say, hey, let's interview you, and come on. Maybe they don't want the spotlight. Maybe they don't want to run into jealous veterans or whatever. So I'm spotlighting him because I see he's making an incredible difference, not only physically but mentally for these veterans. So that's my shout out, my spotlight.
Go,
for
Travis.
Travis Strong.
Salute, Travis.
Thank you, Travis. That is awesome. There's a lot of people who deserve that, and thank you for speaking up. There's so many beautiful people out there doing beautiful jobs, and I don't think they just never put themselves out there, but
they just never get noticed because there's, unfortunately in life, there's more takers than there are receivers, and sometimes we run into that. You know, we worry about us too much, and we don't. Wow, you know that person used to bring me a donut in the morning, and he doesn't. I wonder why. Like they'll never ask. You know, hey, are you upset? Or because that's just not what people do.
Yeah,
you know, people assume that you're upset, so they don't talk to you because you know they're upset. So, but I just wanted to give that spotlight up for Travis Strong because he's done incredible things for the last 5 years, and I don't think he gets enough credit.
That's awesome.
Yay! Thank you so much, Travis. Hopefully, we can have you on, Travis.
Yeah. Let's
promise to talk about poop.
You know, he has a group. He has a poop group.
Thank God.
A group on Facebook that talks about poop, you know, stuff that you know, play games while you're on the toilet, stuff like that. Do you realize they got toilet games?
No.
If you go in your phone app, you can download toilet games right from the toilet.
I can help you with the Atari. I know how to flick it so hard that the pong's right now. That's about my gaming.
My thing is Monopoly Go. Oh, you just got to tap to roo. Have you played Monopoly Go yet?
No.
Oh.
No, my Monopoly game is from my grandfather back in like 1945. It's like so 1945. It was the oldest Monopoly game. Even my kids go, "What is the matter with your Monopoly board?"
They didn't have 50 states back then.
I don't know. Go to jail.
That's funny.
Oh, I would love to sit and chat, but it is my witching hour.
Understood. Yeah. We've got to go because we haven't even taken a break. So
oh shit.
Yeah. It's been about an hour.
When Jolene comes to town, man, everything goes wrong. No,
everything goes to shit.
It's been fun. It
has been.
And we're giving veterans a voice. And the veteran we're giving a voice to today is Joel Hunt.
You know, I tell you what, I was thinking about that. You know, I'm wondering if we should. So we would always have the slogan "Giving Veterans a Voice" on the MB radio platform. But I'm wondering for the MBR Talk if our tagline should be "Let our voices be heard."
There you go.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, maybe you just add to it, "Giving veterans a voice, let our voices be heard."
Yeah, you know. So I don't know, but if you're a veteran and you like playing games on Xbox, on PlayStation, and you want to try before you buy, reach out on the website, schedule a one-on-one. That's a one-on-one, not the one-on schedule. And let's get you started with the outlet, because that's what MBR is here for, is to give veterans an outlet.
And I can do the Atari.
All right. I don't know if that will work. I don't know if HDMI covers Atari.
Come on now, man. How about Pac-Man? Because I'm a really good Pac-Man player too.
You know, they got Pac-Man on
yeah, I think they do.
On Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
They got Pac-Man on phone app too.
I do a lot of Wii, so I can do a lot of Wiis too. I can
Wii bowling.
I do archery. I dance. I play the guitar.
I'm gonna see if I can get the Wii online. It's crazy when you have a TV. I didn't realize we had a Wii game system. I saw it while we was cleaning, and I told my wife,
That's like, judgment.
That is judgment. Judgment. We will talk after.
No, I mean, if you could get the Wii on too, there's a lot of people that play Wii.
I know, right?
So.
We could bowl.
Yeah, because that's more like the physical, like doing something, you know, besides like the whole gaming thing and doing characters, you're actually doing a sport or something. Even if you can't go outside and do it, you can do it.
They have, what's that stupid ball thing?
Pickleball.
I'll guarantee we has pickleball now.
Probably.
Yes.
I know. Dude, I sold my house to a professional pickleball player.
That's right. You did.
I can't. When he said that, I go, "What do you do for a living?" He says, "A professional pickleball." I'm like, "No, seriously."
And they pay for that? That's a judgment on my part.
I just thought he was trying to be sarcastic, but he was actually in the pickleball open.
I would say, hey, man, can I have some pickleball passes?
Right. That's awesome, though. I mean, if you can do it, like, cool for you. Like, that's awesome. You do what you can do.
Right.
Yeah. He put a pickleball court in the back of my house. I was like, wow. Well, it's not my
house. Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
In fact, my neighbor goes, hey, you want to go see the pickleball? I was down there. He goes, you want to go see the pickleball court? I go, no. I can't even freaking walk. Why would I want to go see the pickleball court? And he goes, yeah, you need to get...
Just remember, if you stare longer than 5 minutes, you're a stalker. You're not a browser.
I don't know. My daughter thought he was cute. He's a young kid, so I was like, oh boy.
Oh man.
Pickleball. Yes, pickleball. It is a profession. In case
that's pretty cool.
Wondering. Don't judge pickleball players.
Right. And there for the longest time, I thought a ball was shaped like a pickle. I'm like, why the hell do you guys call it pickleball? I still don't know why they call it pickleball, but
I don't either.
Yeah,
I guess we'll have to look it up. Maybe for next time, show.
Maybe
next time.
Maybe the Beyond the Headlines will be about pickleball, and I will get Marcos, and we'll get him in here and say, "Okay, buddy."
Explain it to us, non-pickleballing player.
Professional pickleball antics, please.
Right.
Anyway, folks, I have to go. You guys can listen to Terri and Joel, but or Jolene over here, but I can.
HR nightmare.
I appreciate, validate throughout time and space each and every one of you, and I'm so thankful to be here tonight with Terri, with Joel, and with Janet and Amber
and all the hosts. Thank you for joining
Tony and
hell yeah,
Charles. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Janet.
Yeah. Thank you, Janet.
Good night. So we are going to leave. Tomorrow is a new day. Terri's show is on tomorrow. Trace Around. There's features on tomorrow. There's a lot of good ones on Tuesday.
Oh
yeah. I mean, they're on every day. Don't get me wrong.
They are. Yeah. Right. We got a lot of good shows, a lot of good hosts, a lot of good content.
Trace, who's your guest for tomorrow?
Mallory Crabtree.
Whoa.
Our daughter.
I love her to death. She's a kid. I told her when she got done with like school and stuff I would help her get her nonprofit stuff, because her parents was like, well, we think you should get finish college. And she told me that, and I'm like, I agree with them.
Yeah. Get your education and then start the work.
You don't need to push something. I'm like, but I tell you what, I will. And I created her logo. I created a logo, and I told her that I would embroider it on a polo shirt and send it to her when she's ready. So when she graduates, I'll send it. But I love her point of view. There's so many things that she could be upset about, that she could choose to hate the world.
Yeah.
But like MJ always says, she's really flipped it, and she has used the power of her voice and the power of her story to make other people think. Because once again, unfortunately, in today's society, if you've never been affected by it, or you don't know a person that it's affecting, then you're not going to support it.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Very true. Yep. So all these good shows are on tomorrow. Make sure you get a hold and get the little MBR schedule. They have it out every morning, bright and early, so you can see who's playing and at what time.
Yep.
And that is it. And we'll be back here next Monday on Beyond the Headlines. And maybe we'll talk about poop. I don't know.
I hope not. I hope we're talking about something else.
And that being said, Joel, I love you. Thank you so much for having NBR be a part of our lives as much as it is yours and inviting us all in. And Terri, you're always a blessed dream. I love you. And
Love you too.
Keep strong. Keep strong, everybody.
Let's do
get
it.
through this together. Exactly. See you next week, folks. We're tapping out.
MBR, we're giving veterans a voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.